Hello ma'am, my name is Kalapi and my register number is 21BCE 5983. Today topic I am going to discuss is graph grammar and its application. The content of our topic are abstract, introduction, component of graph grammar, embedding expression, application and conclusion. Graph grammar provide a useful formalism for describing structural manipulation of multidimensional data. Currently, graph grammars are used most successfully in application areas other than pattern recognition. Widespread application of graph grammars to picture processing tasks will require research into problems of large-scale grammars, readability of grammars, and grammatical processing of uncertain data. Let's have an introduction about our topic. Graph grammar provide a promising formalism for syntactic pattern recognition. Graph grammar conveniently express arbitrary relation between arbitrary sets of pattern primitives. Commonly, label nodes are used to represent primitives with label edges representing relation among primitives. Graph grammars were first introduced to solve picture processing problems. Since then, graph grammar have been applied to areas such as concurrent system, databases, programming language, and biology. Picture processing application of graph grammar remain surprisingly rare. This is due to a variety of factors, including the difficulty of constructing large grammars that are intellectually manageable, and the absence of method for processing noisy and uncertain data. These problems could be reminded by the development of readable graph grammar notations, the provisioning of graph grammar construction and debugging tools, and the emergence of techniques for constructing robust graph grammars. The components of graph grammar are: graph grammars are used to phrase and generate graphs. A graph grammar is specified by a start graph and a set of production rules. The role of the production is to replace one subgraph by another. This process depends on a specification of the desired embedding. Edges from the old subgraph must be transformed into edges from the new subgraph. First we have pre-embedding edges, the set of edges between REST graph and GI host. Then we have post-embedding edges, the set of edges between REST graph and GR host. Uncomplemented embedding mechanism establish a correspondence the pre-embedding edges and the post-embedding edges. Attributes associated with graph nodes or edges encode non-structural or semantic information. Attribute values may be of any type, including integers, reals, text, and list. Programming a grammar adds a control mechanism for ordering the application of production. A program grammar no longer relies on the distinction between terminal and non-terminal to control the termination of a derivation. Program string grammars were introduced in Bung generalized this to graph grammars in 1974. Programming is expressed via control diagram, which specify the set of productions to try next, conditional on the successful or failed application of current production. Extension to the basis control diagram notation include conditional branches based on attribute values, control backtracing in case of unsuccessful non-deterministic subgraph, selection subgraphs, and non-grammar graphs. Now let us move on embedding expressions. So these are embedding expressions, and these all are embedding transformation. We have some example of embedding transformation. Now Bung suggests that graph grammars be used not for parsing, but rather to transform an input graph into an output graph. This helps overcome the parsing inefficiency associated with graph grammars. The method is applied to transforming a two-dimensional arrangement of lines, like derivative for instance from a circuit diagram, into symbolic representation where the node correspond to components, for example resistors, and edges indicate connectivity. Diagram generation via graph grammar is explored by T0 T088 for construction of Forester diagrams, and by G, GOTT87 GOG991 for specification of graph grammars. The applications of the graph grammar are: graph grammars were first introduced to solve picture processing problems. A picture can be represented as a graph where label nodes represented primitives and label edges represent geometric relations. Graph grammars have been applied to diagram recognition. The NRNTST system of uses graph grammar to parse neural network pictures. Other applications of graph grammar include graph theory, translation of programming language, semantic of programming language, visual programming languages, biological development in organisms, concurrent systems, database description, incremental compilers, and software development environmentals, etc. etc. As the range of graph grammar applications widens, additional graph grammar models are being developed. For example, KAL-G91 proposes a grammar to describe and specify concurrent systems and languages. Now we move on to the conclusion of our topic. Since 1969, when graph grammars were first introduced, much research has been focused on obtaining theoretical results. The application of graph grammar to picture processing, which is what integrated graph grammar research, has been unfortunately limited. More predominant application of graph grammars include those where graphs are used as a high-level data structure. Graph grammar provide an expressive mechanism for pattern recognition. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your interest and attention. I sincerely appreciate I have had this opportunity to present to you. Thank you once again.